Hello everyone and welcome to the session on Digital Image Fundamentals. I am Dr. M.K. Vidyalakshmi and in today's lecture we will begin with exploring the fascinating world of how computers see, analyze and they transform the images. So today's lecture objectives will be understand what is digital image processing, learn basic image types and the formats, explore the fundamental steps in image processing, components of image processing systems, sampling and quantization. So let's first understand what is digital image. So digital image is composed of finite number of elements called as pixels. Mathematically, a digital image can be represented as a 2D function f of x comma y. Here this x and y represents the spatial coordinates and f represents the amplitude, or it is called as the intensity or the gray level of the image at that point. So the picture you are seeing on the side is an example of a grayscale image. So this picture is made up of different pixels and the pixels are represented with the spatial coordinates as well as the amplitude of the pixel. So let's first understand what is digital image processing. So we have understood what is digital image. Now we'll see how the digital image processing is being done. So digital image has a finite number of elements, each of which has a particular location and the value. So this pixel location are represented with x and y and the value is represented with the function f. So these elements are finite in number and they are called as pixels. The field of digital image processing refers to processing the digital image by means of digital computer. So whenever we process the digital image, then that process is called as digital image processing and it is being done by a digital computer. So next we'll see what are the different types of digital images. On the side we could see three different images. One is a color image, a grayscale image and a binary image. So basically the images are divided into RGB image, grayscale image and a binary image. So in the RGB image, so this R represents red, G represents green and B represents blue. So all the colors are represented with the primary colors known as red, green and the blue. The other colors are obtained by suitable combination of these primary colors and these colors are known as secondary colors. So whenever we represent any image, that is any color image with the basic components of R and G, B, so the image is called as an RGB image. Whereas in the next case, this is a grayscale image. So the grayscale image contains the pixel values ranging from 0 to 255. So 0 represents a complete black and 255 represent a complete white. All the other levels are represented in between the values from 0 to 255. Next is a binary image. So this binary image, as the name represents, it has only two values. One is 0, another one is 1. So which means 0 represents the black color and 1 represents the white color. So next we'll see about the image representation in the grayscale. So basically whenever we take an image, so if this image shows a cone image and the small portion of this image is represented as a matrix. So this matrix is nothing but it is the spatial location. This x and y axis represents the spatial location of the pixels and this value 75, 76 and other values represent the gray values, gray levels of the pixel. So this gray level ranges from 0 to 255. So it is a 2D matrix of intensity values, which is ranging from 0 to 255. 0 represents the black and the 255 represents the white. So whenever a pixel is stored in a memory with a single byte, that is of the size 8 bits of memory, then the number of gray levels will be 2 power 8, which is 256. This 256 is the number which is represented as 0 to 255. So this is 256 is 0 to 255 are the possible levels of gray levels whenever the image is stored in a single byte memory. Next, image representation in the RGB. So in this RGB, the color image is represented in 3 channels, as I told you: red channel, green channel and the blue channel. So the full RGB image is a mixture of all these images in individual channels. So the color images are made of the pixels which holds the 3 numbers corresponding to red, green and the blue. So with this, each value represented with 8 bits, the possible colors will be 2 power 8 into 2 power 8 into 2 power 8, so which is equal to 2 power 24. So the possible amount of values will be around 16, 777, 216 unique colors are possible with this combination. So next we will see about the image representation in the binary. As I told you, the image in the binary will contain only 2 values, 0 and 1. So this 1 represents that 0 and 255. So this that is black and white. The pure black is represented with 0 and 255 represents the white. So the binary image is a digital image with only 2 pixel values, 0 and 255. 0 represents the complete black and white. 255 represents the complete white. So next we will see the steps in image processing. So we have a central system known as knowledge base. This knowledge base is a combination of either it is a machine learning model or it is a database or any mathematical methods. So based on this only, the following methods can be processed on this data. So the first step is image acquisition. So whenever we need to convert an digital image, we have to acquire the image from the real world and convert it into a digital image. This image acquisition is obtained by using this lens and the filter. So lens is capable of capturing the image in the real world and then by light and then storing it in the sensors. The filter, on the other hand, helps in filtering a particular frequencies. So if it is a spectrum, then we can use a filter to capture a particular value of a spectrum in the real world light. Second one is a process known as image enhancement. So the image enhancement improves the visual appearance of an image. So like if you want to improve the contrast, brightness or any other improvement in the images which is subjective, then we can use image enhancement. This is done by means of filtering. So next process is the image restoration. So this image restoration fixes the degradation. So if the image is degraded, then we can get back the original image from the degraded images using some mathematical models. So here we can use blur or denoising methods to obtain this image restoration. So next one is the color image processing. In the color image processing, it handles the color spaces like RGB and HSV values. So all this color image processing is based on the color images. Either it can be converted into an RGB image or it can be converted into an HSV image. So next step is wavelets and multi-resolution. So in the wavelets and multi-resolution, it analyzes the images at different scales and resolution. Next one is a compression. So compression is used for reducing the size of an image. So it can be either lossy or it can be a lossless compression. So this compression is mainly useful for storing the images in a memory space or while transmitting the images from one place to the another. So this compression is useful. Next one is a morphological operation. So this morphological operation is based on the binary images. For shape-based images, we can use this for dilation or erosion. The next method is segmentation. The segmentation, it splits the images into regions or objects. So whenever we want to extract the region of interest, so then we can use this segmentation method. Next one is a representation. So this image representation considers the segmented regions, convert it into a feature or the descriptor. Next one is a object recognition. So this object recognition identifies the object using the extracted features. So these are all the fundamental steps in the image processing, and all these things are based on the central knowledge based systems. This knowledge based system contains machine learning models, or it contains an image data, or it can be any decision making mathematical model. Next we'll see about the components of the image processing system. So the basic image processing system contains the components begin here. It is a problem domain. The problem domain is the real world, and we use image sensors, which is basically a lens and a filter, or this lens or the sensors which captures the real world images. The sensors could be a CCD sensors or a CMOS sensors. So this captures the light reflected and it is emitted by the scene in the real world. Next is the optical system. So this optical system will help in focus the light on the image, focus the light on the objects in the real world, and the filters will select the specific wavelength like infrared or RGB image. Next is a specialized image processing hardware. This specialized image processing hardware is capable of handling these images, especially the images. So images will have a unique structure. So the specialized hardware will be capable enough to handle the images. So this will basically an array of sensors which is placed in the form of a matrix. So whenever the light image sensors captures the light will be stored as an electronic voltages using this sensors. So once it is converted into voltages, it will be converted into a digital image. So once after this step, this will be converted into a digital image. Originally the real-time world will be having an analog image. So after it is captured by the image sensors and it is converted into a digital image by using this specialized hardware. So this output will be a digital image. Then we can store that image in a computer, or it can be stored in mass storage devices, or it can be displayed. So once it is stored and it is displayed, we can get the hard copy of the image either by means of a printout. So next we can also use this image processing software to change the images, the original digital image. We can do the process like segmentation or enhance, or you can even get the features from that using this image representation. So all this process can be done with the digital image. So next we'll see the basic fundamental steps in image formation. So in the image formation, so we have the illumination or the light energy. This light energy falls on the object of interest, which is called as a scene element, and when the light falls on the scene element, we can easily capture that using this imaging system. So this imaging system is nothing but a sensor which is consisting of a lens which can convert these analog images into a digital format. So this is a specialized form of an image capturing device. So this device contains a series of sensors placed in the form of a matrix. So whenever the light falls on this system, this will convert the images into an voltages, and accordingly the voltages will be converted into some array of numbers which is called as a pixels. So each sensor will be converting that voltage into a particular value. So that represents the pixel value, which is the intensity levels of the image. So next we'll see about the important topic called as sampling and quantization. So this is the fundamental steps which is useful in converting an analog to digital image. So the real world images are analog images. Whenever we capture this analog image using the digital camera, we get the digital image. So on converting the real world image into a digital, we require two important steps known as sampling and the quantization. So image sampling is nothing but it is the amount of light energy injected into each sensor in the form of the voltage. So image quantization is a process of matching the voltage value to the closest digital value. So in this picture you can see the light is falling on this sensor, and this sensor will convert that amount of light falling into a voltage. So this voltage depends upon the intensity of the light falling on this. It is directly proportional to the intensity of the light falling on the sensors. So once this voltage is obtained, it is an analog signal. So this will be converted into digital by using the two steps called as sampling and the quantization. So let's look at the sampling and quantization process in detail. So we'll see what is meant by sampling. So whenever the light falls on the sensor, we can get an analog signal like this, as I showed you in the previous slide. So this analog signal is converted into digital by means of the sampling. So that is, instead of continuous values of the amplitude, we take the amplitude values with respect to the time. So we take only samples. So we take samples from here and here and here. So in a particular frequency of time. So that is, we give some time interval and we take samples of this signal. So this signal is continuous with respect to time, whereas this signal is sampled. That is, each and every sample is taken with some particular time duration. So after sampling, the signal will look like this. So it is a discrete signal which is called as a sampled signal. So it is not continuous. We have taken a point from here, one from here, one from here and one from here. So this is a discrete signal. So this duration, or which we call it as frequency, 1 by t is called as a frequency. So this is called as a sampling frequency. So we can call that sampling frequency as a sampling rate. The sampling rate is always, it should be at least twice the maximum of highest frequency component in the signal to avoid the aliasing. So this effect is called as aliasing. So whenever we sample the signals with some frequency which is greater than 2 FM, we can avoid aliasing. If it is less than, say for example in this the Nyquist rate, this function is called as a Nyquist rate. So this Nyquist rate represents sampling frequency must be greater than or equal to 2 times the maximum frequency of the signal. So if the sampling rate satisfies this condition, then we can avoid the aliasing. Otherwise, if this Nyquist rate is not obtained, that is if sampling frequency is less than or equal to 2 FM, then the condition is called as aliasing. So let us see what is meant by aliasing through one example. See this picture. In this picture, this is the original picture and this is the sampled picture with the frequency less than the maximum frequency, twice the maximum frequency. So this doesn't follow the sampling rate. That is, Fs is greater than or equal to 2 FM is a Nyquist rate. If Fs is less than 2 FM, we obtain a condition called as aliasing. So this aliasing effect resembles like this. So we can get some patterns like this. So to avoid this one, we have to always follow the Nyquist rate. So let us understand through an example. So here a question has been given. You have an analog signal that contains a frequency components up to 4 kHz. You need to digitize the signal by sampling it. What is the minimum sampling rate required to avoid aliasing according to the Nyquist theorem? And what is the effect when you sample at 7 kHz? So let's see this one. So as per the question given, the maximum frequency is given as a 4 kHz. So we need to use this Nyquist rate to calculate the sampling state. So the sampling rate is greater than twice the maximum value of the signal, twice of 2 times f max, so which is equal to 2 into 4, which is equal to 8 kHz. So the sampling frequency is 8 kHz. So whenever we have the sampling rate at 7 kHz, then it doesn't follow the Nyquist rate. Okay, so which is the 8 kHz as per the Nyquist rate. The sampling frequency should be 8 kHz. And the question asked is, what is the effect when you sample at 7 kHz? So the result will be aliasing. So we have the effect known as aliasing when we sample at 7 kHz. So next we understand what is meant by quantization. So image quantization is process of converting the continuous range of signals or the pixel values into a limited set of discrete values. So that means whenever we sample, the sampled value may have different intensities. It is not fixed. Okay, so it will have some different values of intensities. So this will step follows this sampling. This quantization step will following this sampling, and it reduces the precision of the sampled values into a manageable level of digital representation. So let's understand this. So if you take an analog signal, the sampling, after sampling, it will look like this discrete signal. It is a time discrete signal, and this discrete signal will have the amplitudes in the ranges where in a different levels. But we cannot have all the levels. The precision of this sampled values, it may be more. So in order to convert or in order to approximate these values of this amplitude, we go for this quantization. In the quantization, we fix some particular levels. So once the signal is below that particular level, then it is roughly approximated to particular level of that signal values. For example, in this case, we can get some values between 0 and 1. So all the values which is ranging from 0 to 1 will be quantized due to 0. Okay. So all the values which is ranging from 1 to 2, it will be, if it is more than 0.5 or 1.5, it is quantized due to 2, or it is quantized due to 1 based upon the threshold value which we are giving here. So all these values 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 are called the levels. So the values which are ranging between 0 to 1. So whenever the values of the sampled signal, the amplitude has an in-between values from 0 to 1, it is either approximated to 0 or 1. So we can fix the threshold, and once we can, if we fix the threshold as 0.5, and if the signal is amplitude is 0.4, so it is well below the threshold of 0.5, so we can approximate to 0. Or if the signal value is 0.6, it is above the threshold of 0.5, so we can approximate the signal to 1. So the in-between values will be approximated to either the lower value or the higher value depending upon the threshold we are fixing. So with this one, we can reduce the representation levels. Okay, so if you have more levels, then it is very difficult to represent a particular value. So in order to reduce that particular representation, we go for some fixed values of the levels of the intensities. So we can see the quantization effect on these images. So this is the original image. So after quantization, we could see the difference. So here all the levels which is in the background, we can see some shades here, but all this has been quantized to much lower level. So that is, it appears almost black. And in the color images also we can do this quantization, and here you can see the clearly we can see here we can see different shades of blues and whites, but these values are quantized to only 3 values here. So here you could see blue and light blue and only white here. So this is the effect of quantization on the images. Basically quantization is nothing but some approximation on the levels of the intensities. So with this, I'll conclude the lecture for the image processing fundamentals. Thank you.